low key a new market. I've been leaning towards Ohio just by what I've been hearing in the stratosphere of things, but I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out like a new little market to tap into.
Yeah. So Ohio. So I've got some friends. So we've got we got a couple friends out in Pittsburgh who I'm trying to get them on board because they are lighting up the world in Pittsburgh. And literally, this woman moved from Denver to Pittsburgh to be part of this whatever out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that may be a good market to look at. And I'm posting in the comment, by the way, our video from a couple weeks ago just to make sure that everyone sees it and watches it. That about ways to find buyers. And actually, this is what a conversation I wanted to have with you about your VA and also about software. Because I think it may be better if you've got PropStream, if we move away from PropStream and we get something else. That way, both of us have two tools instead of
Okay.
the
Yep.
same tool.
Absolutely.
Because one of them, Deal Machine, I think it was Deal Machine, was saying that they're now unlimited free skip tracing, which PropStream is not.
Mm.
And Deal Machine also has is more of a driving for dollars kind of module. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, well, if Nair has PropStream and and if you're willing to share yours, we'll move over to the other one, and then we have two.
Oh no.
Uh, and then so what she's been doing a lot in Pittsburgh, which of course right over the border from Ohio, Pittsburgh. Connor is down in Newcastle, so he's been I'm trying. Actually, I was hoping he would be on this call, but we're trying to get going in Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind if we're outside PA. Ohio, I'm hearing, um, strangely enough, Detroit and Flint, although Flint, I think, still worries. Flint worries me because of the water issues, which may or may not have been resolved. I don't know. That would be my question there. Kansas City, oddly enough, Reading and Lancaster, PA. This is from my podcast that I'm on each week with Joe Scarice. Let me see if I can pull up Joe's LinkedIn. Joe posts, yeah. So I'll share the screen. This guy, I'm actually one of his. I don't know. So okay. So in addition to, so I'm one of his. He doesn't call it broker. I forget what he calls it. Correspondent, I think, for for hard money lending
Mm-hmm.
and asset based lending. So through my connection with Joe, if you find somebody who wants debt service coverage ratio lending or fix and flip lending or whatever, we can make. I think we split 1 point or 1.25 points. So if it's $100,000 deal, we each only make about $500-600. But you start doing enough of those, whatever.
Yeah.
Joe posts a great article every week um, on different topics. One of which is he usually mentions good markets, and those are pretty much the ones I'm rattling off. Um, those are pretty much the ones I'm rattling off. So Pittsburgh, Stephanie's doing great at, um, and also Kansas City, Detroit. It's mostly the flyover towns that are working. Lancaster, Reading, um, and I don't know how much stock to put in this, but one of my attorney friends says to look at Tamaqua, and specifically look at Tamaqua for self storage and like that, Tamaqua and Lansdale and like that,
Mm-hmm.
because and this goes back 3 or 4 months, but he just sold or just did a deal for like a stupid amount of warehousing space, like millions of square feet.
Mm.
And he's like, in Hazleton, he's like, well, the reality is Hazleton's overpriced now. Hazleton is now a high value market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so logically, think of where are these people going to live? They're going to live in Tamaqua, Lansdale, a few minutes from Hazleton, not McAdoo. These towns that previously were bullshit. So those are some markets to kind of look in, and the same thing goes for the self storage thing, which I'm posting another video here into the chat as well. That's weird. Okay, so that's fine. What I did a video on Tuesday with my real estate my licensees,
Mm-hmm.
talking about ways to run some numbers for different transactions, and I'm putting that in the chat as well. And one of the things I also want, one of the things I covered in there, which I don't know, did I cover this with you last time we did a video? It's been so long about self storage and
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
That's the
basically,
last.
yeah. So basically, I covered that, and finding those kinds of things, and that is for us, for us, and for the people in our mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
That's a national, that's an anywhere in the country kind of thing, because all we're looking for there is the mom and pop self storages. But same thing. That's the trend that I'm seeing for investors at what we typically have as buyers. I'm not saying at our level, like we can't do the other. Is it's not the shiny primary markets where usually the deals are found, because people are still hunting Philadelphia like it's the African rhino or something, and they're just trying to kill it all. It's these slower markets like Pittsburgh. Oh, who the hell wants to go to Pittsburgh? Well, Pittsburgh, Stephanie just picked up a house for $25,000 in Pittsburgh, bought, fixed, and done. She's going to be renting it out.
Right.
I was going to do private lending on that one, but there was some hitches in what she expected in a lender and what I expected in a borrower. Um,
Right.
I wanted a lot more of a blood sample, and she wanted a lot more of a hi, here's a check. But the returns are phenomenal. So that those are some other market ideas. I mean, where else were you thinking?
Right now, just like really, it was just Ohio because I was looking at data and things like that, and they were like Ohio has a lot of good like pre foreclosures and or a lot of people who have like issues, especially Cleveland.
Yep.
I was like, it might be the way because, like you said, everybody in Philly is trying to hunt it down like it's a rhino, and it's too much noise. So it's like
Yep.
trying to sift through all the noise
Yep.
and find that one is damn near impossible. So I'm like, it wouldn't hurt to try and do a couple new markets. And I was also thinking like maybe I do want to maybe Florida. I don't know, just because I practically lived out there. My majority of my family lives out there.
Okay.
Like I be out there all the time, and I see like a lot of crappy houses. Like I was recently out there for like only like 4 days, and I saw like a lot of crappy houses, but I didn't know the market that well. So I'm gonna ask my aunt who deals with like mortgages and stuff out there, and ask
Yep.
her what it looked like out there to see what's up. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try new markets. I
Yeah.
might,
Yeah.
might
Definitely. And I mean, and we do them nationwide, and I'm looking to invest too. So like in terms of if there was a deal that was worth buying, okay, fine. Well, we can talk about that. But I mean, definitely. Now the challenges you get into, and this is one of the reasons that with what we're doing, sort of working with us, is a lot of these states are now brokerage required,
mhm,
which is okay. I'm not a broker in those states, but because I'm a broker here, I can easily lock up with a brokerage there, because their rules will be most states a broker can't pay an unlicensed person. So the Ohio broker would pay me, or we'd pay them, or whatever. We broker to broker, and then we pay you. So we kind of keep that going like that. Um,
okay.
yeah. So I mean, all those states. The other thing is, and this is not a warning against doing deals in those states, because obviously we don't care what the buyer does with the property. That's up to them. But in I'll sort of generalize and say, okay, in blue states like New York, Massachusetts, are typically not as landlord friendly. That doesn't mean we don't want to do deals there. As wholesalers, we don't care. But rental deals, and lots of people rent in Massachusetts. Not saying you don't, but places where it's harder to evict tenants might be a little bit tougher if the only play for the deal is a rental.
Right. Okay.
So it doesn't really matter, like with what we're doing right now, it doesn't matter blue state, red state, no one cares. It matters demand and supply. But in terms of looking at, oh, gee, is this a great rental? It will be a great rental for that person that wants to rent in that market. But like for me, I was pitched a couple deals in Massachusetts, back basically my hometown. And I said, no. And like, why? I said, because I will never be a residential landlord in Massachusetts. It's just not going to happen. I saw what my mom went through back in the 70s. I'm not taking on that risk of being a resi landlord in Massachusetts. So don't care about the politics of the state when you're doing this, but just realize when you're talking to the investors for a rental, which obviously you and I'll do together, that factor fits into us for landlords. Like I'm considering buying in Bing. I was considering buying a 20 unit in Binghamton, New York. My wife looked at me and she's like, "There's no way in hell we're ever buying residential in New York."
Hmm.
Um, Residential New York just passed a law, and I think it's statewide. I think it was a state law, maybe it was a county, that when the lease is up, the landlord cannot end the lease unless they can give the court a good reason why they want to end the lease. Simply having the lease be up is not enough of a reason. Well, simply having simply wanting to raise the rent is also not a good enough reason. It has to be like, this person's horrible. Well, no, this person's not horrible. They're fine. We're just done with them being our tenant. So, kind of things to be aware of, for you when you start investing or whatever. That, yeah. So the other thing in Florida is there's a lot of wholesaling goes on in Florida, but they are very much not a wholesaling state by the state positioning.
Uh-huh.
So, and I don't know if DeSantis has been changing that or not. So again, back to our brokerage license will help because we're not Florida. First of all, I actually can reciprocal to Florida like very, very quickly. That is one of the states I think we're reciprocal to. But also, you know, I know 5 brokers in Florida, so I could easily call up any of those 5 brokers and say, I need you to backstop me. I don't know if it's required you broker in wholesaling in Florida, but I know that Florida is a pretty sticky state for wholesaling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So, any other questions or any other markets you're thinking about, or how can we help you grow? Is really what I'm asking.
I'm trying. I like right now. I'm really just trying to figure out the best market because I upped my budget that I want to spend. So instead of doing like, remember we talked about doing a few hundred and hitting that lucky dot. I'm starting to do like 1,000 leads a month.
Okay.
So I'm up it, but I'm gonna up it gradually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm pretty sure within the next 2 months, I'm probably going to be up to like 3,000 leads and just keep it like that. But right now we had like a little bit over 1,000. I think it's
yeah.
like, I want to say like 1,100, 1,200. You
And
know,
and we might pool with you on that because and this is more me than we, because I'm going to start buying leads, and maybe you and I start working together with your lead company and with your VA, and we start. I mean, I'm throwing out an idea. I'm not saying we have to do it, but we sort of start saying, okay, if you're doing 1,000 and I'm doing 1,000, they might give us a better deal.
right?
And if one account is doing 2,000, they might give us a better deal than if 2 accounts are doing 1,000.
Absolutely.
The VA might, and also maybe we work with the VA a little bit, because I think the VA, maybe we need to spend some time. I'm just suggesting is training the VA, because what
That definitely
they're
could
not
be.
giving us a lot of information.
Yeah, at all. And I come up with the like I think I have the right questions, but they won't. I don't know how they're asking it. Next time I'm gonna ask for like a call recording just so I can like hear it. Like I don't know how they're asking it, but it's like it's not complicated questions. And I tell them all the time, yo, just don't sound like a robot. Just blend every question in like you're having a conversation, and they'll always be like, okay, understood. And I'm like, okay,
And they don't really understanding.
and then
Yeah,
they don't really understand it, and then I come back with the information, and then I give them to you, and then you'll say, oh well, it's not a lot of info, and I'm like, well, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not really much there, and then they'll get upset, and when I don't use them for a while, or I'll do it myself. I like my VA just texted me. She was like, are we not working like this week or this month? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do it myself. And then she was like, did I do anything? Did I do anything wrong? I mean, like, we've had conversations like this before, and yet you
yeah.
come with very minimal information. And I don't want to keep spending money and I'm not gaining nothing out of it. Because right now she's charging me what, like $70 to call 1,000 people, which is not.
But still, if she's not giving you anything, what's the
That's what
point?
I'm saying. It's still going to be a waste of money if nothing comes out of it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and
Right.
yeah, and we and Ryan and I have had the same struggles with call centers and VAs. We've spent thousands, and we've stopped for the last few months. We've been like, you know what, that money is soon to go down the drain. And when we call people, we do fine. So I'm not against, right now, you and I just taking the list and saying, okay, we're each going to call, whatever it is, 50, because if you call 50 people a day in 10 days, you've called 500.
Right.
Okay, so 50 people a day is a lot. So okay, we called 25 people a day, so you've called 250 in a week. You called 200 in a week. Okay,
Right.
in a month you've called your full boat. And
Exactly.
and this is also good because one of the things that I kind of realize is I don't do a lot of cold calling. I hate it, and it's very hard to train the caller on it if you hate it. We even went so far as we hired a managed call center, like global something, that a lot of big wholesalers use, and it still didn't work. And their managers weren't that helpful, I guess is what I'm saying. So if we
Mhm.
do hire VAs, we're going to hire direct to a VA and be like, hey, you know, this is exactly the script we want you to use, or even AI. Get an that maybe you and I would just invest in an AI dialer, which I actually have. I'm not sure how much longer I'm keeping my Go High level, but I have within my Go High level an AI dialer. It'll whatever. Also, it's important to, but I mean, for right now, we just simply dial. We simply, we say, okay, we just bought 1,000 leads. We're both going to call, a dozen a day, whatever that is.
Right.
See where it goes and kind of jump in there. Because the VA system has been the weakest link for me. Because did they make and yes, I always require they give me call recordings, but that means you have to have the time to listen to all the call recordings.
Yeah.
And at that point, you might as well have done the call yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, to pop in and out. I mean, yes, call recordings are important. So basically, I think maybe we can figure a better way. I mean, again, if you want to do it on your own, you don't want to split it up. That's fine. But maybe if we team up on it, we buy the list, we call the list, we say, okay, now you understand and I'm reminded of, and you understand how the calling process goes. Then we start training a VA.
Right.
Then we start, and it sounds like you've done it. And very few of them, the challenges I've had, and I don't want to sound cultural or whatever,
Hmm.
but I have had the countries where most of the VAs come from, over in Southeast Asia. They're extremely friendly people.
Hmm.
They're extremely helpful and focused and whatever, but they're almost afraid to tell you they don't understand, or they're almost afraid to tell you that they don't agree or they don't get it.
Right.
Has been my experience.
No, that's what I've been gathering because I'm like I would rather them say that than say yeah because I'm looking at it like all right, well I don't want to say they don't and just assume and the whole time they do and then I don't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Right.
it kind of confuses me too. So it's like, but I've been leaning towards like just doing it myself. But the problem is I would need like some sort of power dialer because doing it one by one I've been there, done that. Like it's just more tedious than I would like to say. I've sat there and called 500 to 250 to 500 people one by one by one on this phone. So it's like I would need some sort of power dialer, and that's kind of my biggest conundrum because I don't have like the funds to do a power dialer because it's like last time I looked at a power dialer, it was like 1,000 something a month, like something like that.
So I've got a power dialer company so I've got a power dialer company, and maybe this is what we do. Maybe instead of, I mean, and again, I'm just throwing out ideas, but maybe instead of saying, okay, basically, maybe I'll pick up the power dialer, you got the prop stream, whatever. We say, okay, boom, because I got one that's only like 250 a month or
Hmm.
something like that. And now the one thing that Jake Arnold, who's a very big wholesaler that I know, he cautioned me on. He's like, he doesn't like power dialer. He likes individual. He likes his software will dial. It'll like bring up the next number, but it's a one by one dialer. What Jake cautioned me on, he's like multi-line power dialers. And he said he's a very big wholesaler. He's like, my competitors use multi-line power dialers. I don't. I said, why? He's like, because they dial four numbers, and if two people pick up, you can obviously only answer one of them. So he's like, you end up kind of pissing off, if you get two people to answer. He's like, so for me, I like the one by one dialer.
I mean,
Um,
okay, that could work.
so like, but important is not you pushing in the digits.
Right.
That's the difference. It's saying, okay, you push that number, and if that number doesn't answer, you push leave voicemail and you push dial next number. Like
Okay.
it's coming right up on your screen as here's the next number, here's the next number.
Yeah.
Now, I don't care. I mean, if we do a multi-line power dialer, I don't care. But that was the only thing because I was out when I was talking to Jake. I'm like, all about, well, I'm going to use a multi-line power dialer. And he's like, look, he's like, they don't. It's not they don't work. He's like, but this is what I found.
Okay. I mean, it
But
kind of makes sense because, like, if you can't answer them all at one time, you would either need more people or like do the
right,
do the one by one. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
So the software that I'm talking about now it does have a multi-line option, and maybe the 250 is a multi-line price. I forget. But it's like, you know what, we would just do the one at a time module, and
That would
and,
work.
and pretty much you and I would say, okay, I'm available to call, I don't know, 10 to noon. We'd figure out a schedule so we don't both try to use it at the same time.
Right.
Okay, you know what,
Yep.
the hours you're free or this, the hours I'm free or that. Maybe Ryan, whatever. Other than that, kind of pushes it out that way.
That's,
Um, Yeah, so I mean, if that helps, I don't mind contributing in that way and saying, okay, let's get a dialer, let's buy some leads, let's start calling them. You
that
know,
would that would actually be awesome because my thing is I figured out like truthfully like I've figured out how to use PropStream to get. I want to say I figured out how to get a highly accurate good set of listing. My thing is, my biggest problem is literally just have been my VA and the calling, and that's been the issue. Because even she said like you're getting me like a good leads list every now and again, which before I used to not get good leads at all. Like they just every time 500 just crappy, just all through the board, just crappy, crappy, crappy. Now they're getting like to where she's calling like three or four. She's calling like 1,000, and she gets like 5 to 7 leads out of that 1,000.
that's low, yeah,
Yeah, that's yeah. So it's like now it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna do it and see what happens. But I had no problem doing it. I that's how I learned. Like I sat up. I used to watch Zach Ginn and everybody like that. He would just sit up and just call with a dialer and just sit and just have a professional voice for however long he decides to do it and come out with a lead or like 10. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't mind doing it. I would just need some sort of dialer because I've done it, like I said, one by one on the phone,
yeah,
trying to memorize every number, you know, labeling the context so I don't get confused. Like, you feel me? Because just in case they call me back. So I want a dialer to like at least call them, have them organized as like a hot lead, warm lead, etc. You know what I'm saying? That way I can keep track of it. Because I think my other biggest problem is also organization. That
yeah,
is that's what it is too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is organization, and I'm doing it the old school way by writing it down or putting it in a book, and it's just like nah. Like they have CRMs for this. This is why CRMs exist.
yep. And we have a CRM now. I
Right.
actually was just so. We have a CRM, and I'm just about to get trained on it myself this weekend because the developer just finished the modifications I wanted. So everything will now go through the CRM, and I think so. Yeah, and that and the so short version is yes, we'll get a dialer, and I was just looking up what other type, what categories are working the best now. Pre foreclosures is going to start to win big.
Yeah.
People, unfortunately, people getting shafted. Just there's
Yeah.
no other way to say it.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, and I mean, and if you've fine tuned, because my problem is I do too many like different businesses, and like I don't have time to dive in and say, okay, let me learn PropStream completely. Let me learn this completely. So if you're to that point with PropStream, I can get the dialer set up because I understand the dialers pretty well because I went through hell with them last summer, like to the
Yeah.
point that I swore off ever freaking like doing this again. Um, so like I understand which dial or whatever, and we just buy a list and we start using it, and also with the CRM. So I now have it set up that the CRM with a form, everything goes through the CRM and proceeds semi-automatically. I
Hmm.
think I can set up the dialer to talk directly to connect to the CRM. So
Hmm.
when you're taking your notes, it's actually taking it in. It's actually taking it in the CRM. So we
Nice.
can, because streamlining an organization, though CRM, most importantly, what I have it set up to do is task assignment, which
Okay.
is okay. Great, you collected these questions. Now assigned to Steve and Nair or however we play it. Here's the checklist of what has to happen next. And you have 2 days, and it's pre-set up that you have 2 days to do this and 3 days to do that, and whatever. So in 2 days, it says, "Hey, did you do that?" It reminds you because that's my worst part of it is I know
Yeah.
I need to do it, but then it just falls off. It falls off the map. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Okay. That's something we could definitely do because, like I said, prop stream for me is fairly easy. Like with the help, because I've used with the help of AI, try to help me understand it better. I told him to explain prop stream to me like I'm a newborn baby. So it's like once it did that, I was like, okay, this is fairly easy because you can stack a whole bunch of zip codes and they'll give you like a crap ton with those 10 zip codes you have stacked on. Like you can stack them on top of each other
yep, yep,
and they'll scrape it instead of you just putting in one zip code. So once I figured that out and how to filter it correctly, I was like, oh yeah, this is fairly easy. So now I'm starting to get good leads. Now it's just the VA and the organization part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to get a handle on that and get the calling like locked in as soon as because if I do the calling, it'll be a lot cheaper. I can handle that. I can get 2-3 thousand leads on a monthly basis. That's
yeah.
yeah.
And listen, I am happy to adjust the percentage split because
Okay.
I'll be perfectly blunt. I hate calling. If you would do all the calling, I'll pay you a higher piece.
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it.
I don't mind it. It's productive. Like it's and it feels good when I do it myself anyway because like at least I know what's being said and I know that they can hear like somebody that doesn't sound like a robot because when I normally cold call I don't I just be real like how you said like when we first met you just be real. You're like, look, like I seen this. I'm willing to try to help you out, try to make it better for you. Let's see if we can make something happen. That's basically the basis of a call. Like I'll be honest on a lot of my calls. That's honestly how I got my first deal back in like 2019. Like I was just honest. I was like, listen, and it was actually a pre-foreclosure, so it was crazy. I told the lady, I'm like, listen, this it looks bad now because she was crying, she was stressing. Her kids was fighting over it. And I remember me and the buyer Bill, I told Bill, like, listen, this is what's going on. This is the issue. Like, I'm not trying to be sympathetic here. I'm gonna just be real. If I could make the lady's problems go away for the most part, could you get it done? Once he looked over the information, and the only way the information was that good is because I vetted it myself. I looked at it. I didn't have nobody send me the information or like ask questions. I looked at it myself, wrote it down, gave it to Bill, and Bill was like, you know what? Yeah. And I was straight honest with her. I was like, listen, we can help you out this conundrum. I think it was like she owed like it wasn't too crazy. It was like 80, 90. It was
Right.
like 80, 90, but she was just old. Old people was on like a fixed.
Yeah, there's more than she can do. She can't keep up.
Right. So I was like, listen, we can do this. Boom, boom. Me and Bill got her that, fixed it, and he paid her. And to this day, same lady, she actually lives 4 blocks away from my grandma. Every time I'm around the neighborhood, because her daughter lives 10 minutes away from where she lives. She drives around the neighborhood, and every time I'm around the neighborhood, she sees me and she thanks me. So it's like I felt as though like being honest and straightforward and
Yep.
trying not to finesse like a lot of wholesalers do is definitely the way to go because it's just like, dude, it's a crappy situation. Like I'm not trying to pull on strings. I'm looking at it as let me help you out. Like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to finesse you. I'm not trying to get nothing out of it. Even if I don't even get anything out of it and you still get helped out, that's good on my conscience. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And,
that's
and and that's what I like about you. That's why I wanted to stop down and say, okay, how do we make this work? Because that's how I want this to grow. It's all about doing what's right by the person.
yeah, yeah. Truth
And
be told, that's kind of why we're in the state that we're in now. That I feel like that's kind of why they have this strict law now of wholesaling because people have been assholes basically when it comes to this, locking people up in their houses with the sole mindset of just money, money, money. Don't care. I'll be that asshole if it means 10 to 15K one every now and then. Like I'm like, no, dude, like that's why we're in this situation. Like that's why you need a license now to wholesale. If y'all was just
yeah,
honest, it
well,
would be okay.
we Ryan and I have had a few cases, and I'm sure we have separately as well. One case I remember, like it got down, and there was like logistical bullshit after logistical bullshit. There was issues with the condemnation and this and that and the other thing. Da, da, da. And finally, the seller like it kept reducing what the seller wanted. And finally, the seller said, "I'm not reducing anymore. I'd rather this thing go to tax sale than whatever." I forget what the situation was. Like she was already paying like 3,000 to get rid of the house, and she's like, "That's it. That's my line." And so Ryan and I just gave up our wholesale fee and said, "You know what? Yeah, we have 100 hours into this thing, but we can either see the buyer get what they want and the seller get what they want and get good reviews and see this house get saved, or we and make nothing, or we can stand on the line of sand and make nothing."
Right.
Well, then we're just going to let you know. And I think at that, I think we've even had it where we actually gave up a couple times where we said, you know what, our $1,500 wholesale fee or 5,000 wholesale fee or whatever it was, that's the difference between living and dying. Then okay, we'll go to zero or we'll go to some low number. I think one time we went from like we thought we were going to make 20 grand, we went down to 1,500 because a it was 1,500 or nothing, but b it was well if we don't do this, the house doesn't move,
Right.
and everyone, the seller is stuck, the buyer is stuck, everyone's stuck.
Right.
No, that this is better for the community, this is better for this, better for that, whatever. So yeah, so I mean that's the kind of honesty, and you're right. If there was honesty, I mean let's be perfectly honest. If there was honesty, the wholesale law would never have happened. If there was honesty, I mean the Association of Realtors came in because licensed agents were not being ethical. And the licensing law for real estate agents came in because real estate shit wasn't being done ethically.
Right.
So you go right back to it. Like this entire system that we think is the way it is. I mean, it wasn't before someone told me it was like 1890 that real estate agents started to happen. It wasn't because it became a reality because people were shafting each other.
Mm-hmm.
We have sellers disclosure laws because, I mean, to me, it's logical. I'm going to tell the buyer what I know about the property. But we have a law to require that because people didn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way we want to be. Is we want to be exactly what you're saying, straight up and ethical.
Yeah. So I don't mind, like I said, doing a call and being real. Like, listen, this is what I do. If you really need help, I can help you. But
Yeah,
help me help you. Make it make sense.
exactly. And Ryan and I, and probably on a financial standpoint, this was a bad decision. But I think on a personal standpoint, I feel good about it. We had this guy call us, and we offered him 25. He said, "I'll take 20," which of course is the first red flag. Um, And long story short, we put the property under contract, and then Ryan, something isn't sitting right. So Ryan Googles his name. 35 animal cruelty judgments or cases against him and the wife.
Mm.
Plus the other thing. So I texted him and I said, listen, I said, I just want to let you know, like, we're not trying to judge anybody but this could screw up the deal. He's like, how? I said, well, it could be against your thing. In actuality, I just didn't want to deal with someone like that.
Right.
So and I don't know on a financial like Ryan and I debated this like okay we're going to lose money, someone's going to do this deal, but he talked about how he sued two realtors for what he called racism, and da da da. So I was like, look, I said, if you're willing to have this deal take longer to give me time to figure out what the heck is going on in your 35 cases, I'll do the deal. If not, I wish you well. Let's call it a duck right now. And
Right.
he decided to go in a different direction, which I was okay with, because if the guy has 35 cases against him for animal cruelty, plus the wife has meth, and they both have abuse allegations or whatever,
Yeah.
not going to be a fun one.
At all.
But I didn't I didn't call him up and come up with some bullshit about the house, because honestly we hadn't even seen the house. We just signed the contract. But I was just straight with him and said, listen, what you have going on. He's like, I was shafted. I said, you might have been shafted. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, because I don't know, it might be more difficult. I want to let you have the decision as to what you do next.
Right.
So, which is the other thing to say to you is that, like, our ethics and our morality, which I think we're very similar on, is like, in terms of, if you're like, hey, this deal smells bad, this guy smells like he's going to be trouble,
Hmm.
this smells like we just would rather pass.
Right.
Hey, we don't need to. I mean, we need money, but we don't need to make it
That bad to where, yeah,
right. Exactly.
nothing's ever that, and that's the problem, and that's the biggest problem that I have now, because like I said, I started in 2019. It was like easy. Nobody really knew what it was, understood it. Well, at least to my knowledge, like, it was understood, but nobody really wanted to. Everybody I met that even dabbled in it never really pulled the trigger on it. But then now kept saying it throughout the years, get harder and harder. And then once I realized, oh, they're making this into a, like, this is a big thing. Like, this is,
Yeah.
they're not playing. Like, you need, okay. Once I realized that, and then I tried to figure out, well, why is that? And then I dive deeper into that. Now I'm looking, oh, it's an ethics thing. People lying, getting people in contracts, holding up houses, not saying what they wanted to do with it. And then, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of nonsense. And now it's like guys like me making it harder. Now you need your license. Now you got to go through all of this crap that you didn't really need to go through. Like, I remember a time where it was just, all right, you get a list, you call it, you talk to them, like, hey, I can help you out. Boom, you can. Okay, great. Let's make
Yep.
it happen. It's that easy. It Wholesaling really used to be that easy.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it did. And with the with the today's laws, you know, so yeah, so the law. So that's what I want to run this business like, and I want to grow people under you, eventually, and whatever. So whereas I my tagline on the email is, it's easy when you treat people right. You know, it's and it's easy. Like, the law is not easy. The law is stupid, but it's easy because the person, I have yet to have, people have this 30-day right of whatever under the new law. I've yet to have anybody pull that, because and I've had one guy call up and say, well, I just got an offer that was higher, and I'm like, well, here's da, da, da. He's like, I'm not changing. I'm just letting you know there's another offer, because we're helping them, and I'm stuck doing a flip now, because I probably should have just walked away and let the deal die, but a bunch of shit went down like the day of closing,
right,
and I felt bad. I hope to make money on the deal, of course, but I felt bad telling the seller, yeah, you're going to have to go to foreclosure now, because we're not buying the house.
right.
I just, the buyer's lender rejected the buyer, didn't reject the property, rejected the buyer the day of closing.
Mm.
And I'm like, all right. So also, I have a call today at 2. So yeah, so all right. So I'll get the power dialer hooked up to the CRM, so we can meet maybe Monday or something, and I can show you that.
Got you. That'll
And
be
if you want to go ahead and order some names, and I'll look back at your JV and figure out how we want to adjust the percentages,
okay.
to kind of, because listen, if you're making the calls, that's worth more.
Right.
I'm not having to deal with it. Um, and on the Land OS, the developer and I are talking today at 2.
Okay.
I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll send you the login to it later, and then over the weekend or on Monday, I can send you the training videos, and we can
Got you.
train on that.
Perfect.
And that is a complete separate. He calls it an ecosystem. It is not just a database. It is like, it's its own CRM. It's its own everything. So we have our own land technology system, I guess, to go through and analyze land deals and evaluate them and whatever.
Okay.
And I'm not friends with the guy; like we're simply professional Facebook contacts. But the guy who developed it, he and I are working on modifying Land OS into Self Storage OS. We're gonna flip it to a different category. So we'll definitely get you going on that as well. And then and so then also our CRM is there. I just need to go through it and test it.
Got you.
Within the CRM, by the end of next month, is we're gonna have it'll have all the calculators built into it.
Hmm.
You'll plug in the ARV and the yada yada yada. It'll tell you whether it's a good deal. It'll give you every variation, every variable of the different ways the deals will work. It'll even have a uh, repair estimator. Now, the repair estimator is going to be based on my market. Eventually, it'll be something people can change. But like you'll say, kitchen looks like 1970s, and it'll say, oh, well, that's only a 35% update, or that's a 100% new kitchen.
Got you. Got
The kitchen looks like 2005. Okay, that's a 25% update. Semi-modern, modern, however we phrase it.
you. Hmm.
The point is that when you're walking through and when you're talking through it with them, you'll be able to kind of get a lot closer on that call to, or on that, quickly to, what is the repair estimate and why? What does that? What do the different calculators look like? To the point that I want to make this, and this may be another way you can make money, is I want to get more subscribers, like paid subscribers in my masterminds, and in subscribing to this software. Like I call it business in a box. And
Hmm.
that can be another thing you and I can help other wholesalers get involved. And if they don't want to team up with us, they just want to use our software. Great, we make some money that way.
Okay.
Um, so I'll get the power dialer hooked up over the weekend, and I'll get the Land OS stuff down to you because I finally got on Eric's schedule.
Got you. Okay.
Um,
That'd be
and
great.
yeah, I guess that wow, we covered a lot. Okay, great.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. So
Yeah,
yeah, like right now, I've been up since like 6 in the morning. So I literally just finished stacking a list. So now
okay.
it's just sitting. You know what I'm saying? So like, Monday I can get on it.
Well, I mean, if you have a list now, I didn't realize you already had a list. If you have a list now, I'll sign up for the power dialer today.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do have a list.
I won't have it connected to the CRM until next week.
All
But
right.
you can certainly start if you've got a list. I thought you were thinking about getting a list. If you're getting a
Oh
list,
yeah,
I
no,
know
yeah,
what to
no. I was already ahead of the game. I just because I really don't even think I'm gonna use a VA. I just think I'm probably go the American route, which means I'm probably gonna have to pay a little bit more, but it's I feel like it's gonna be more bang for your buck,
do. Yeah,
so to speak, because it's like trying to do the overseas thing, and I think the language barrier and the culture barrier do play a huge part. So it's like I don't even want to. I don't even want to. I don't think I'm gonna go down that route because I've been using it for like 7 months and I haven't. Like you, it's been money down the drain. So I don't
I
even
don't think.
do that.
Yeah, I don't think we ever got a third party dialing person or company
Yeah.
to actually deliver. Now I do have one lady who, I mean, she's $3 an hour, and she's in whatever, and she's very, very like. I don't know if she's any good at. Um, I don't know if she's any good, and I don't know if she doesn't have the voice skills for voice. But if you wanted to have her do online chatting, she would definitely be dedicated to it.
Hmm.
Uh,
I
and
never.
like I've never used her for anything, so I don't know if she's any. I don't know if I can't vouch for her. But at the same time, if we wanted to say, hey, listen, whatever. So I do have some people at that, but not on the voice side. On the voice side, I don't have that.
Okay. Yeah. I've never thought about that. I've never thought about the text because I texting to me like people say you can get deals just through texting, but like that's never happened to me. I'm not saying that it can't get done. I'm just saying out of a deal. So I've never seen the value in it, but I mean, I could definitely give it a try. I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Well, let me talk to her about it because where she came to me as someone who would find me Airbnbs to arbitrage, which is
Mm,
basically rent them out and sublet them, which I still want to do, but it's never. I'm very bad about like I've got too big of a list like that actually get to the things that I want to do. Um, so, but basically, so sorry. Let me circle back with her. And okay, so texting. Now that you brought that up, let me just kind of cover that also. So texting, we would have to register to use phone texting, like to use Facebook or whatever. No, but to use phone texting, we would have to get certified with the government. So I'm not looking at that right away, just because it's going to take us a while to get this number certified with that.
Cool, cool, cool.
Um, and so yeah, but yeah, but I was more mentioning in terms of Facebook promotion or whatever.
Okay. Okay.
Um, all
Gotcha.
right, so yeah, so we'll get that done. So and then I'll meet with Eric in about 2 hours to talk about Land OS,
Okay.
and
Gotcha.
then we'll go from there. Yeah, so as soon as I have the dialer set up, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, just let me know because, like I said, biggest problem definitely was a dollar because, like, I can definitely buy a headset with the microphone, sit and
Yep.
chat all day, every day. Once that's done, I can jump right on it, like no problem, no. So I can definitely do that, and we can go from there, like you said. Like I'm actually excited. I've been wanting to get back into doing it myself anyway because I feel like what's the saying? What's the saying? Sometimes if you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like might as well. Yeah. Also, I am still in the process of getting my license. It's just long. That whole aceable thing is good, but it's just like I'm trying to figure out the key things to really focus on because I know they do have a lot of crap on there that I feel like it's just noise, that I'm not going to use. And I'm trying to figure out the key thing to focus on. The only reason it's taking me long is because I can't like advance unless I complete a level because all the other levels is locked. So it's taking longer than I would like it to take. You know?
Well, and listen, that's fine. I'm glad you're sticking with it. And I've not done the Aceable agent path. If you want me if you want to do a screen share at some point, I'll look around and see what it is. But basically, here's what I regardless, you take an online course, you take a non-online, take a live course,
Hmm.
whatever you do, um, you want to. The stages are real simple. So you take whoever's class. You take whatever I call it the transcript exam, the exam that says, "Hey, I completed this and I get my transcript that the state requires," which is going to be an exam they want you to pass because they want to get paid. That you're kind of a babe in the woods, and even with Larry Delgrado, who did my local class that I took, um, you're kind of a babe in the woods without two things. And Larry taught from what I call, and I'm getting up to see if I have a copy of it in my office or not. But the big yellow book, which is the standards and practices of real estate in Pennsylvania or something.
Hmm.
If you just, yeah, I don't think I have one. If you just search standards and practices in Pennsylvania, yeah, that's not it. Um, and it's yellow. It's got yellow stripes on it. It's got a picture of Harrisburg, and you'll know it because one of the authors is attorney Goldbaum from Harrisburg, and he's like the Association of Realtors attorney. And I tell everyone have a copy of that book. Now, have I opened it more than 3 times since I became licensed? No. But in that book is everything that they're teaching.
Okay.
More important than that book, probably, because again, like if your teacher isn't teaching from it. But I know Ryan went to some online Groupon course and they didn't teach to that. And I gave him the yellow book, and this is the second thing I told him to do. I said, when you're out of your class and you finish your transcripts, you pay another $100, and if money's tight, you don't get the book. Do this other thing. Pay another $100 to um, the ceshop.com. And Aceable might have an equivalent one that's just as good. I don't know. But
Hmm.
they have a test exam package for whatever. Beat the living crap out of the test exams until you're getting mid 90s. Just
Okay.
keep doing them. And remember, this is not an open book test. So doing them and doing them and doing them and doing them. Because when you're getting mid 90s on CE Shop's practice exams, then you know you're going to be getting at least an 80 on the other exam.
Got
Um,
on the actual
so
exam itself. You're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And I tried. I took other practice exams when I was going for my broker's test because I just was cheap and I didn't want to pay the $100 to CE shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even look if my CE shop account might still be active because it was weird. They didn't shut me off. But and I tried them and they were asking questions about oranges and parrots. And I'm like, well, that's not a practice exam for real estate. So you beat the crap out of the CE shop practice exam to the point that you're getting a 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you sit down and you take the exam, you'll be fine. Now, I don't know. I tested before they switched testing companies.
All right.
Um, when I tested, I took my broker's exam. I did my license exam. I went to the facility. My broker's exam, I did, was plus or minus COVID. And I said, I'm going to stay home. I would never, I would never do that because the amount of looking around, they literally made you tilt your laptop and like show your room and stuff. And I just found it more of an emotionally difficult process. Like the test was the same, but I just found this stuff around doing it from home was more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my example, I was laying down doing my work because I got back problems and that's why I didn't want to go to the facility. Well, I went around the room. He's like, well, show me under your chair. I said, I'm sitting on the floor. He's like, you can't sit on the floor. I said, excuse me? I said, let's talk reasonable accommodation, which is actually a legal term in the licensing world. So think twice. I don't know if it's any different, but think twice when you go to do your home test. If you go to testing, just I would personally just go to the center.
Yeah, I was looking into that, and they literally said that it's proctored. If you do home, it's definitely proctored. You would have to sit in like an office and sit like real still. They'll check eye movements and things like that. I was like, all of that, I might as well just go in then. Like it don't. So yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, but I mean, basically, so when you finish Aceable Agent and you finish whatever their whatever gets you their transcript, whatever they call that,
Yeah,
then the CE. I mean, the book is great, but like I said, I couldn't tell you where my book is right now because I don't use it on a daily basis. But it does contain copies of every single real estate exam, the real estate contract, and everything.
gotcha.
Um, but the CE shop test exams is pretty much it. So I'm right now waiting. I've clicked all the buttons. I'm just waiting for Kixie to um, set up the dialer,
Hmm.
and they
Okay,
just sent me an email saying it'll be about an hour till everything's set up. So okay, fine.
okay,
So then we'll set it up, and I have it may also email you because I gave him your email,
gotcha. Okay,
and then
cool.
we'll go from there.
Okay, and just a quick recap. You said it was Pittsburgh. I already got Ohio. You said Pittsburgh, Reading, and what else?
Pittsburgh, Reading, Lancaster, Detroit. Oddly enough, and I have a broker out there who will work with us.
Okay,
Um,
Pittsburgh, Reading.
and what was the other one? Oh yeah, like Tamaqua, and the Tamaqua lands. So the Tamaqua Lansdale was sort of from an attorney I know that he knows of a development going in down there.
Okay,
And this guy's a serious, like he's one of the biggest real estate attorneys in my region. So like, John knows his shit.
okay.
Um, but those are a few good markets. And
Gotcha. Pittsburgh, Reading, Lancaster, Detroit.
yeah, and like maybe Tamaqua, Lansdale. Um, and I think it's Kansas City, but I'll have to ask Joe if Kansas City is still on the radar. And again, like and of course, if you have people in certain parts of Florida, and remember everything. The one thing to be careful of is like Ohio in general has some great places. I don't know if all of Ohio is good. I'm sure
Right.
it's Cleveland might be good and Cincinnati might suck. I'm sure it's one of those things. Um, but like I can tell you up here, we are overpopulated with wholesalers and like like up here as much as I want to buy more up here, it's just hard to find a deal that's valuable.
Right.
Um, the other thing is the rule of thumb, and this has been broken many times, so I've made money on these. If it's already been advertised,
Leave
don't
it.
bother.
Leave it alone. Okay.
Now, I actually, because I just keep forgetting to call this guy, I might send you somebody later today who has a house up here. It may end up as a listing, but I had somebody keep contacting me. He's like, call this guy, call this guy. So if I don't get around to it today,
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
have you call. They'll go from there. All right, cool, man. This is great.
Got you. Got you. You know what? I just remember my business partner also doesn't mind like putting the work and dialing too.
Oh,
So
all right.
even if the only thing is he's also like me. He doesn't want to do the whole. He just wants to click hello. They make it as streamlined as possible. Like, and that's the thing. We've been trying to put our money together to get a power dialer. So even if the subscription that you just got has a power section, I can literally it could be the two of us
Well,
here.
yeah, I got the power dialer,
Okay.
and I'll give you all the logins because I gave it my email address and I gave it yours, but I think it's under my login. And
Okay.
pretty much that's what I was saying about. I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I was saying about the schedule. Is the schedule does not have to be a strict like schedule thing, but since we both can't, so I don't want to pay another $150 or whatever it is, $250 a month. I don't want to pay double for him and you and me and pay $750.
Yeah.
I want to pay one and say,
Right.
okay, you're going to use it. If you're using it, I'm not dialing. So
Got
the
you.
three of us would say, okay, you know, you and your partner are going to dial today from 1 to 4. Okay, then Steve knows he can dial outside of 1 to 4. I'm just picking up whatever it is. So we would all share the same login. We would
Right.
all share the same because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, and we would in the CRM make note of who did it. Within the CRM, you'd note, you did it, he did it, whatever. So when we have questions about a specific file, we would know who to ask, but we wouldn't let the power dialer company know we were doing that.
Got. Oh yeah. It's just basically a workaround type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. I get it.
that's
I get
all.
it. 1,000%. 1,000%. Okay. All right. Yeah. Then that works. Like I said, I'm not doing nothing really crazy today. I have the list built, so just send me the info once you get it all, and I'll just lock in and get straight to work. So,
All right.
all right, man.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye bye.